it's with the compliment of Swift Bag this morning.
Send it fast.
Send it now.
Christmas around the corner. What do you want for Christmas this year?
I want a PS5.
Well, that's not even trending anymore.
Yeah. So do you want to have home? You'll give me it?
We'll barter it.
Yeah, no, we're bartering. I ain't bartering nothing. You want to know who's got me vexed, right?
Yeah, good rate.
Here's a question.
Alex, is it too late? You don't get catch.
Let me throw this one out to Roman. Let me say your daughter, your son or daughter, yeah, son, your son. Let me say your son is,
And one on the way.
Nice man.
Yeah.
Let me say your son is like
Hey,
19.
batted well, man.
Man, yeah, man. Stay in your crib.
Yeah, another gonna add it to the Emirates.
Your son going to school. He goes to school. He's on, let me say, recess break, right? He's outside in the schoolyard where the pipes are. So you line up in an orderly fashion.
Yeah. Good story.
And there was some water. So he's lining up in the line, orderly for water.
Mm-hmm.
The bells ring for class to continue, but he's in the line. In the schoolyard.
I heard this story.
Getting water.
Right.
Fills up, goes back into class, just about a minute or two, maybe 3 more.
Late.
The teacher takes your son and spanks him for being late.
Nah, you missed a piece of it.
I miss please.
That child was sent to the principal's office for straps.
Right.
Not no
outrageous.
Not no spags.
Right.
How are we still strapping children in school?
When the person told me, I was like, they're still sharing licks in school?
What do you do?
Well, if my son tells me that, I would have to go into the school first, find out what transpired, hear the two sides of the story, and yeah, they will have to answer as to why is it that you disciplining my son for getting drinking water. If he's thirsty, I mean that is not a reason to punish a child. And punishment, again, people.
That's not appropriate punishment.
It's not. It's exactly. It's not like if he was being disruptive or, he break the pipe, he outside vandalizing his school or something. If I just get in some water, the bell just ring, I still waiting to get some water.
Waiting in the queue to fill your bottle up.
That don't make no sense.
In a case like that, does the ministry come down on the principal or the teacher or the whoever?
I think first off, I think there has to be a couple of steps here. One, you can't beat my child without my permission.
Correct.
All right? First off, you can't
can't
unilaterally decide you're beating my child. For what?
Yeah.
Right? How are you going to change a culture of to get something? Violence is the
answer.
Answer.
You can.
These are young children. How old are the children? Like 10, I think.
About 10, 8, 10.
8, 10, around that age. They're young.
Yeah.
That's practically
and in this
still fair.
And in one of the ones in this case was a young girl.
Mm.
How are you strapping? How is a principal? How does a principal sleep at night? Yeah. That's not your job.
Correct.
If you think the child is out of whack with the school, then get the parents to come and pick up the child. But
correct.
You can't be strapping a child over that.
But the irony with that for me, the child in the school waiting for water,
queuing up,
waiting for water. Not to say you hit somebody child elbow,
right?
You scratch off somebody child face. You're waiting. You stand up waiting for water.
In the school, probably.
In the schoolyard.
Yeah.
The bell rings.
How could the Ministry of Education sanction that?
This is what I'm asking now. Does the ministry have a part to play in this?
Has to.
But then when you hear stories like this, it makes you wonder what else is happening.
So if you get the strap for that, what do you get for fighting?
Exactly.
Jesus, what a death sentence.
You lose your left hand or
something.
That can't be right. That cannot be right.
That is the craziest thing I've ever heard.
You cannot breed a sensitive nation, a nation which resolves problems without violence like that. You're just creating a problem when they're children.
Yeah.
Wild.
What message are you really sending?
Terrible.
It's fair.
Terrible.
You're ruling by fair. You're instilling fear in the child, so the child fears you as opposed to respect you.
Yeah, but discipline doesn't have to come through
the straps
channel.
Well, listen.
There are other ways of discipline.
If you're unfair, I will couch this one at the government. The government rules by fear.
Okay.
How many times have you had a conversation where people are afraid? They're like this.
Yeah.
Constantly looking behind them to see who's around. Yeah. Because they want to say something.
Oh, don't call my name.
How are you going to have, I'm going to use a UOP word, because they use it all the time. A modern society.
Right.
If people are fearful to express themselves, how do you get change in let's say in a government ministry if nobody could actually say what the problem is?
What do you call that?
Because every time you say what the problem, you lose your job, you get transferred, or whatever it is.
Yeah, well,
And I think that culture has become normalized in some instance.
yeah, but we have to get away from that. We have to go back to having an opinion, and as you say, being able to express yourself, because that's the only how you can really make a change.
Correct.
If you can critique constructive criticism, as they say, then what's the point?
An opinion is what again? You see, I'll tell you why I say that.
That
Right?
was a stupid question.
No, I'll tell you why I say that. Because last week I said, right? We wasn't arguing, but this is somebody trying to tell me. Once I don't see where he coming from, and I'm making no sense.
Yeah.
So why am I now not supposed to be able to think critically for myself?
Yeah, I think we're moving. We're trying to move away from having critical thinkers.
If
in
I
society.
don't agree with what you say, because you support whatever you support, now there's something wrong with you. What is wrong with me?
Yeah.
You know what is wrong with me?
No, but I know a lot of people who still support the ULP and so forth, and that's their choice, right? But I could have serious conversations with them. We can go back and forth, and we keep it respectful. You understand? And many times when I tell them certain things, they tell me, "Boy, I agree with you." But that's exactly, and
That's
that's fine.
crazy. That's crazy. That is,
I have a more serious question, right? We are how much days away? 12?
10.
Days away? Who bringing cartel? Is Adi bringing cartel? Or
I would know how much.
I think
the man say if you provoke, he be bringing popcorn.
I think. Am I correct in saying that they tease Massacre?
I think that's also.
Who's
Yeah,
I
I
bring
think I
Massacre?
saw-
The tease it.
I don't know if they said flatly that he's coming, but they tease Massacre.
PM was on a video call with him.
Yeah.
He doesn't rally.
Nah, like, FaceTime.
Like a FaceTime.
And to
But
tell them-
I think this election for me,
If I had cartel there, I would have announced it by now.
based on observation, I would say this election is different in terms of this is not a red yellow election. This is about a movement of change. I think people just generally fed up
You think?
and they want change. That's how I see it.
You really think people are fed up?
Well, I mean, look at
Okay. All right.
look at Mike Brown.
Talking.
Well,
Yeah, I thought the Mike Brown. If you're not familiar with Mike Brown's a former ULP member of Parliament. He represents what West
Western George.
St George. Nice guy. What prompted him to come out and say that he can't vote for ULP this time?
Was that a meeting?
I don't know if it was a meeting or if he was addressing some persons, but I think what happens is I think his conscience.
It was some union thing. I think he was
Yeah.
addressing.
But I think his conscience got the better of him.
conscience.
He
Yeah,
didn't. He
because-
did. I mean, he didn't say he's going to vote NDP,
Correct, but he just said he's not.
but he
voting.
said he's not going to vote.
Conscience.
because
Conscience.
So why did he say that?
no, but remember he came from the era where his best interest is with the public servants and the teachers, the police, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
and I think when he sees how they've been treated,
So that never used to happen in his era?
well, again,
And where with the conscience then?
No, what he was alluding to was that the party is not focused on people anymore.
correct.
So in his era, it was focused on people?
Well, you remember he was there in the early days of ULP,
Yeah.
like the first
Well,
term,
okay,
second
right,
term.
okay,
So
okay, all right.
put it this way, I think they were outwardly they were more focused.
More
Yeah.
people centric.
And he's essentially saying no, they've lost their way.
Yeah. But essentially, if you look at it, one could say that the ULP has shifted away from the labor policies and they're more MNU policies. If that's
I wouldn't even say that. I would say, just as the Democrats in the States have gone from being liberal, but essentially about representing working class people,
right.
the ULP have become about representing money.
And self-interest.
Well, you're saying that.
Well, that's what we're seeing.
I would say categorically that the the donors and the money people are the people that get their ear. They listen to them. They enact policies which reflect their needs.
Right.
I would say at the expense of intentions. Right? So whether it's Sandals, whether it's whoever, there's been a whole list of characters over the years.
Right.
Right? They will say that they're just trying to get things moving on the ground. But I would say that they are they're very concerned about the rich people's needs. And they seem to be somewhat comfortable with people in poverty.
Yeah.
And I don't think that is a very Labour characteristic. Labour characteristic was meant to be about the smaller man who needed the unity of others to have a voice.
Yeah.
They don't seem to be representing that voice how maybe Mike Brown would expect.
Right.
Because there's only one voice now.
Yeah, and I think that voice, as much as they accuse the NDP of being beholden to their what they call their paymasters, I think the UOP are just as beholden.
Yeah.
And I think maybe the difference is that the UOP are less inclined to tell us the agenda. Whereas if the NDP come out and say, look, we want CBI, it's out there.
Yeah. You know what it is.
It's transparent.
Yeah.
You know what it is.
Yeah.
Right? Whereas if Waste was, and I'm just saying, let's say Waste wants a deal to buy Pignatara's property.
So
Then that should have been expressed up front.
Yeah. And not make it seem like doing
It's
this
a
great
quid pro quo
yeah.
type thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I agree.
Likewise with Sandals. It's all very well for Camillo to say he's friends with Adam.
Yeah.
But at what expense to the people?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And that's the thing. You have to remember that you are there to serve us. We are the ones paying you.
Well,
we pay your salary.
that would be the Labour philosophy, but
Yeah.
but I don't think that's a reality.
man, I think
There's another one that's I don't know if you're getting your vex. WizKid put up a post sometime yesterday. He says people who switch were never real in the first place. Right? I'm guessing this is people who've switched from the ULP. I think what he's saying is that if they switched, they were never ULP in the first place. Is that fair?
You see, but that goes back.
Or
it goes back to what I just said.
and you
exactly.
switch to
You
it goes back to what I just
you can't
said.
be objective. It's like me and you having a conversation, right? And I disagree with you, and we talking based on principles and so forth. But you come back to me because I am winning the argument.
red
is
for life,
you and your party.
yellow for life.
You label me,
Yeah.
right? But that's not the case. We're dealing with an issue.
Grandmother.
Let's stick to the issue. We're not making it political. You understand what I'm saying? So keep it. So people have now gotten more educated, more observant. Maybe they travel a little bit more and they're seeing what's happening. And maybe they realize, like,
this ain't walking how it's supposed to walk.
correct.
Well, and that's the argument. Why is it that what is hindering me from having my own opinion?
Yeah, exactly.
Is it maybe safer for the ULP to have this philosophy though, right? To basically say it's like a guilt trip in somebody. Yeah?
Okay,
Yeah.
so back in 2001.
If I've won for the last
Hold
5
on,
terms,
let me make this point. Back in
Uh.
2001, when they had the change, right? I am pretty sure that there were a lot of NDP supporters who at that point
Wanted
also
to
figured
change,
they
yeah.
wanted to change too.
Yeah.
So why was that not the narrative then?
all right. Let me hear from our learned colleague.
Putting my foot in my mouth out here, boy.
Come
No.
on, do it.
I just think, in my opinion, for me, I do not have a party in power. I do not have a party in opposition.
Correct.
And what we must realize,
What do you, boy?
You live in here,
no, because I'm a policy man. I've always been a policy man. And the way I grew up, and my parents never instilled in us, okay, this is NDP or this is ULP. So I must be able, and before I make this key point, ULP got in office, because people said, listen, NDP,
People switched.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I do not want Vincentians to ever have this, that we must be red, we must be yellow. Listen, I voted for you in the
Preach, boy.
past.
I've been trying to say this for months.
I voted for you in the past, and I voted for them based on their policy. And back then, I was young. Now I'm seeing things differently because I'm in business. And I said recently on Facebook, my vote is not to eat a food.
Yeah.
It does not have that tag. But I want Vincentians. Of course, there will be others who will switch because they want to eat a food.
Yeah.
But when we see the direction of the country, and we know in our hearts
It could be better.
it could be better, we must be allowed to express it.
Correct.
Because that is democracy.
Correct.
And we should not allow this. We must not be boxed in.
Any color.
To any
exactly.
color.
And that's the thing.
It will kill us.
If NDP gets in there, book
you
it and
don't
show
like
it. I don't like it. I am going to be one of the people
Last
champion.
time
Exactly. Because you can't tell me that, okay, we want to get in, but then you're going to want to do the same thing.
No, you can't.
We have to
cannot.
cut that out.
You can't.
As a nation, we have to change the fundamental thinking of people. You know, no, I'm being serious. We have to.
You gotta remember. You gotta
It's about
remember,
country over party.
you gotta remember that them yellow fellas, the power hungry though.
No. I don't want to hear. You see, this election, right? You're talking about what the NDP going to do. Where's the plans? The NDP gave you 8 possible things that they want to implement to help to better Vincentians, and all the other side is doing is trying to find something to tear that down. Why?
Because
But they're not even putting out anything to say what they're going to do.
no, but they have to tear it down because
Okay, fine.
because
But then what are you going to
because
implement
one is popular.
that you ain't doing the last 25 years?
No, but listen, it's popular. If I'm on $250 poor relief and someone takes it to 500, which is more than 360 that the other team,
right.
obviously
I'm going to tell you why that can't be possible.
500 is better than 360, right?
Because 7 is more than 10.
If cost of living is high and you're struggling to buy your groceries and pay your bills, and somebody lowers VAT, it's going to leave a few more dollars in your pocket, right?
Yeah.
So obviously, right, it's attractive. If I'm a public servant and I'm on $2,000 and I get a salary bonus, that's $2,000
Yeah.
for me, as opposed to 3% for 3 months, which is $180.
Yeah.
Which one is? So obviously, right, the ULP having committed to whatever their policies were
Right.
or are, it's too late now for them to switch, right? They can't say, well, we'll give a salary bonus of a month now.
Yeah, but then campaign and tell the people what you're really going to do. Not,
Yeah, but they have to.
not speak.
But
like
you
if
understand that they have to tear it down because it's in their personal interest to tear it down. That's just politics, right?
Yeah.
Now, if you listen,
Our issue is to ask, and this is why I said I started the show saying, what is if they were to further develop the ports? I think they're talking about phase 2 and 3,
Right.
which again I don't necessarily have a problem with, and I think maybe we need it, right? But I would also say, at what expense?
Right.
What impact does that have on, say, me if I'm a public servant?
Right.
Does that mean that I have to go another 10 years without a pay rise? Does that mean I go another year without a bonus?
Well, when you made that point this morning, I was thinking it was just like the AIA. Now that they say they want to go back and do some additions. My thing in the beginning, with when you come to like capital projects, right, is we know we're going to be asking the public for a lot. So let's
You
make
have to
sure
get
we
it
do
right.
it right the
You have to
first
get it
time.
right, yeah.
That way, we're not going back and put ourselves in more debt. You understand what I'm saying?
And also, right, you can't keep expecting. Come on, make it.
well, I don't know if you guys paid attention to last night's presentation by the LP. Carmelo said, and that's in the manifesto, and it's like a counterattack to the NDP's position on attacking rising cost of living. So NDP is saying, I'm going to reduce that. And Carmelo said last night, okay, you're going to do that, but this is what we're going to do. We are now moving the threshold in relation to income tax. So let's say I can't remember the exact figure from my accountant at the
It's
office.
dropped from 30.
Right.
In the last 5 years, it dropped from 30.
Good.
to
So they're going to
20,
move it
28.
as a result.
And they say they want to drop it again.
Right. So, but persons within that bracket now, presently under their new proposal, will not pay income tax.
Yeah, they pay less.
Right. So he's saying now that, listen, we are going to put more money in your pocket rather than reducing VAT by percentage. We are now going to put more money in your pocket because
And someone needs to just do the math,
exactly.
right?
No.
So in other countries, you would get the Bureau of whatever come out and say, well, plan the European plan is going to cost the average worker
Right.
X amount.
Right.
Under the NDP plan, it's going to cost the average worker. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you can compare it.
So-
breakdown, right?
They're basically saying this is how we're going to attack the rising costs. And because it's going to leave you with more money. And I think he mentioned on average, some persons will end up per year with $1,500 in relation to tackling VAT, which is on certain items. And I want voters to listen attentively, and also we should also judge on your performance.
So what I find interested in that, right? And somebody needs to do the analysis and see, right? But what I find interesting is instead of calling it a gimmick, because I don't think putting money back into people's pockets is a gimmick,
Yeah.
right? Politicians put money in their pockets all the time. They spend, I'm sure they spend maybe as much as 30% of their day studying that, how to put more money in their personal pockets, right? So it can't be a gimmick when consideration is given to putting money into
Everybody's fault.
everybody else's pockets, right? They spend a lot of time finding ways and means to do things for themselves and their children and their families and that, as we see, right? That's not an inconsiderate thought of theirs. They spend time on that stuff. It's important to them. They don't want to come out of politics broke, right? All we're saying is think a little bit about everybody else's pockets. You have Vinlec, which are comfortable just jacking up the price willy-nilly. There is absolutely no, nobody in the country could plan for Vinlec's bill because it's so wild. We must be one of the few places in the world where our Vinlec bills are not moderated in any fashion.
Yeah, because sometimes you might be paying one fixed figure and then one
Next-
month is
You're paying 200 this month, next month is 280.
Yeah.
How people budget for that?
My final point. Listen, yesterday I got the experience the common man, because I think I've passed that stage. A ship was in yesterday, a cruise ship. And yesterday, while at the cruise ship, I watched the taxi drivers. They stand for hours before they could get a job. I remember my days of going to the market with my daddy, Jericho. But because Jericho was a popular man, the time you reach market, time spent is limited. We sell stuff in a flash. And when you watch guys, or even the craft persons, standing there for hours, I said, God, I thank you for your many blessings. Listen, and I look at that, and I said, wow. Now, I'm saying, I don't think any government will ever change that. However, we need to ensure.
If there are other opportunities, people wouldn't do it.
Thank you very much. But not only that, listen, I'm not saying that we have not made strides. We have.
Yeah.
But listen, we have work to do, and I want our politicians to understand this. Listen, when we put you there,
You have
have
to work for the people.
work for us,
That's
work
right.
for us. Look at me, for example.
I'm gonna give them 30% to work on themselves.
Right.
We get 70%. Because I think at the moment
So you're saying that is not bad. 70 is not bad.
Man, 75.
Right now,
No,
I
you
got
have
it
to
higher
work.
because
Wigan.
I got it higher, Luke.
I
Because
will never forget when the PM said, the PM made a classic statement years ago when the public servants were threatening to go on strike over
Right.
something. No, they weren't. They said they were going to work to rule. And he came out and he said, boy, he would be most grateful if they worked to rule. Because at the moment they come in late and they go home early. He said if they work to rule, he said he'll get a full day's work out of them. He'll live with that. He can live with that. Right? And I'm the same with the politicians, man. Give us, oh God, man, give us 70% of your time.
man, give me 75. Give me I want
Right?
a higher number.
Because at the moment, I think the 70% is on themselves.
Yeah. But you see,
I want-
you see it.
I want one thing from the politician before we close. Could somebody
A horn on the
please?
t-shirt.
All right.
Could somebody please take away the pen and paper from Grace Walters and write a speech for she? When
Why?
you're coming to tell sensible people that before this administration, yeah, because them things that's hot.
Yeah.
When these things that insult people
What did she say
intelligence,
that you didn't like?
how can you tell people in this day and age, before the ULP came to power, people never had drinking and clean water? How could you stand up on a stage comfortable and watching a bunch of people and make that statement there? How?
Where is she referring to? North of the Dry River?
Well,
Maybe.
had to be. How? Even though it's north of the dry
I'm
river.
sure they have many springs and things.
How?
I mean,
So there wasn't pipe-borne water?
Well, apparently not.
Well, I mean, I don't know.
I don't. But still, how could you say before people did not know about drinking and clean water? How?
So what were they using?
You gotta ask Grace.
Grace Waters? You could.
come and
Somebody, please.
494-7420.
When all they doing rally again, tie you up in a back room and gag you. Don't make you talk.
Well, first off, we have to establish if what she's saying is true or
It's
not.
back, yeah.
Maybe it was.
In 2001, we never had drinking and pipe-borne water. That's what you're saying to me? That's what you're really saying to me?
Hold him, Christopher.
That's what you're really saying, look? Boy.
One final thing.
You or
How come all the horns, even at the UOP rallies, I see most of them are yellow?
I want to bring that.
Oh, it's only one party brought
That want to bring. I take it. That's that.
The NDP